The time I got crabs. Okay, technically it's only one of the two times that I got crabs, but this is the funny story one. The other one isn't a very good story. Hey everybody, it's Prince of Queens, and I was very busy working on this scripted video that is going to be released before New Year's Eve, which is going to be called Intersectional Feminism is Communist Particle Board. A massive amount of work has gone into this. It's like over 12 pages long, the script, and it's going to be a long video. So yeah, I really think that you guys will enjoy it, and that's what I'm at with my normal style of video, but I want to upload a video today, so I'm just going to tell a story. So, when I was 19, I went to Europe on a backpacking trip with a friend of mine, and it was just one of those summer things that 19-year-olds do. You get out of college after freshman year and you go backpacking through Europe because you can drink alcohol, you're used to being away from your parents, and it just seemed like that was a plan. My friend was already doing a study abroad thing. She was a few years older than I was. She was probably a junior or senior in college. So I went up and met with her in London. She had been staying with a host family outside of London. And we get to the youth hostel. And here's the thing. I had always heard that you can't actually get crabs from youth hostel beds. Like specifically from youth hostel beds. They said that you can't get crabs from mattresses, from beds. That had always been the common folklore, is what I'm going to call it. So you might already be figuring out how I actually got the crabs. But, it was this funny thing where I get there, we go to sleep, we sleep for a bunch because, you know, I have jet lag. I wake up, we walk around, we do some things in London, and by the end of the first or second or maybe third day, it's hard to remember, you know, because I was 19 and we were going to pubs and drinking all the time and stuff, so I don't really remember, but yes, my pubic hair started itching kind of a lot, and not only was my pubic hair itching, but I wasn't really very good at hiding that fact that it was itching. So I was actually literally scratching my pubic hair when we're walking through subway stations and stuff with my friend, kind of looking over at me being like, dude. And I remember explicitly saying, like, we got to this part when we were in a subway station. There was nobody around. It was, you know, they call the subway the Tube in London, and there was nobody around. And as soon as nobody was around, I reached down my crotch and was like, you know, scratching myself really hard. And my friend gave me this look, you know, because this girl that I was with, and I said, God, I swear to fucking God, I have crabs. I itch so much. And we both kind of laughed about it, but I thought I was joking. And so then we, at some point, got to a pub, and I went to the bathroom, and I was urinating at a urinal, and I looked down, and I saw a bit of a freckle at the base of my pubic hair. And I didn't know what crabs actually look like. Like, I had never had them. I'd never seen them, obviously. So I somehow figured it was the thing to do to pull off, to kind of like rip off the pubic hair that had it there. And sure enough, it was attached to the end of the pubic hair. And I was like, oh my God. So I went and I told my friend, and see, she was drunk. She was like a drunk 20-year-old. And so I'm like, hey, so I really do have crabs. And she was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I was like, no, I seriously do. I actually have crabs. And she was like, no, you're not doing this to me. You aren't. And I was like, no, I have them. And so she was like, okay, you have to show me. And I was like, I have to show you a crab. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I go back to the bathroom and I pick off one of the pubic lice and it's, you know, on my pubic hair, and I put it in my palm, and I take it out. I didn't get her to come to the bathroom with me. I took it out on the pub floor, which in retrospect is a really weird thing to do. I don't know why this has just now occurred to me, like, while I'm telling this story for the video. Like, there weren't that many people in there. There was probably only like 4 or 5 other people there because it was like 3 p.m. So it's not exactly pub hours, but if you think about it, that's really bizarre that I'm like walking out on the pub floor with a pubic lice in my palm to show my friend. And so I go and I'm like, here you go. And can you imagine the scream? I'm not going to imitate the scream that she delivered when I showed it to her, but there was a scream. There was a definite drunk 20-year-old girl scream. And, yeah, she said, like, oh my god, the legs were, like, moving around, so squirmy little pubic lice legs, because they were, that was what was going on. So, yeah, we then tried to figure out how we were going to get rid of them. And here's the funny thing. I will never know for sure whether or not she got them as well, because she claims that she didn't. So here's the thing. Pubic lice are pretty good at traveling around. Like, they're similar to lice. They can get on your clothing and stuff. And we were in close quarters with each other all the time. You know, there was lots of opening up of backpacks and clothing all over the floor while we were searching for things, and then cramming the stuff back into the backpacks. And maybe even, I think I gave her a massage when I immediately got over because she was sore from traveling. So she never admitted whether or not she actually had the pubic lice, and she claimed that she didn't have them. However, she was the one that procured our cream, you know, the toxic cream. She had somehow an arrangement to be able to see the British hospital and the British doctor. We went and saw the doctor. She got a prescription for this cream stuff, and then we both used it. She used it, and I used it. And she acted like that was normal, but I'm thinking to myself, maybe she had them, but I'll never really know for sure. And then here's the thing. You can't really get rid of pubic lice completely without isolating all of your clothing and putting them in garbage bags and only wearing clothing that has been washed in hot water, you know, and making sure for like a week or so that you do that, because the eggs can survive for up to a week or something like that. I don't remember the exact time frame. And so we were there for another 2 or 3 weeks after we figured out that I had pubic lice. So I just decided to deal with the fact that we had them. Like, we didn't know what else to do because we were backpacking. You can't put things in garbage bags. So we did do the cream again once we got over to, I believe, Vienna. When we were over in Vienna, we put on the cream again, and to make sure that we wouldn't have another outbreak of the pubic lice. And here's the other weird thing. This is something weird that we did. When we were in Amsterdam, we decided to go to some rave-ish thing, and we took mushrooms, because mushrooms are legal in Amsterdam, and we got really high on the mushrooms, and we got lost, and there was heroin addicts around. Like, there was this alley that was very obviously full of heroin addict-like people. I think that they actually had the oil drum with a fire in it and everything, you know, to keep warm and, I don't know, cook their spoons of heroin. Like, it was, and so we were like tripping, and I'm looking back on that, I'm like, God, how was I 19 and really not very worldly? And I'm taking around this girl who was kind of, I don't want to say incompetent as an adult, but she she wasn't the most strong, independent woman, is what I'll say. And somehow I'm supposed to be the man in this situation. And I'm like 19 and I have pubic lice and I'm tripping on mushrooms. And somehow I keep it together and I don't have a flip out and like freak out in Amsterdam. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I managed to maintain. Yeah. Like, when I have memories of my younger self, I always imagine that I was just this, like, wacky, incompetent person that was just always getting into trouble and couldn't, you know, tie my own shoes without help. And I guess that's not really true to a certain degree. I don't know. And is there anything more to say about the pubic lice thing? No, that was a pretty fun trip. The best part of that trip was when we were, I believe, in Brussels or maybe some other train station in Belgium. We had like a 6 or 7 hour layover in the middle of the night. Like, we got there at maybe 11:30 and we had to stay until 6 a.m. And it was desolate and shady. That place was really shady. The train station in Belgium, it was really shady. Like, so shady that they had an entire blacklight bathroom. Like, the bathrooms had to be lit with black lights because black lights make it so that heroin addicts can't find their veins. They can't find their veins to shoot up, so they won't shoot up in the bathrooms. And not only was it like that, but somebody had seriously ripped like the sink or the toilet from the wall as if it was the Incredible Hulk. Like, I don't know how or why. Like, I don't know how. And it was a single person occupancy bathroom. So it was scary. Like, it was like this blacklight Incredible Hulk wreckage bathroom. And so, my friend and I were all bored, and so I went and I grabbed her, and I was like, "Hey, I have something to show you." And I put my hand over her eyes, and she was like, "What? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you, but I have something to show you." And she's like, "What? Oh my God, Prince, what are you doing?" You know, like, she knew not to trust me. And what I did is I grabbed her by the, you know, I held her hand, and or I don't know, I must have had my hand over her eyes too, so probably not grabbing her by the hand, but I kind of inched her towards the bathroom, and I'm like, "Okay, here it is. You feel this door? And then I just pushed her in the door and then closed it on her. And again, she started screaming a whole bunch. Now, granted, what if somebody had come and gone in there? That would have been really crazy. But the other funny thing is that we were so bored, but we refused to like fall asleep or anything because we didn't want to get robbed. So instead, we created an not interpretive dance, coordinated dance where we were synchronized dance. Yes, we were doing a synchronized dance. We created an entire synchronized dance. And when we got back to Seattle, we had a party for some good friends, and we might have ingested some substances, and we were playing a boombox, and somehow we decided to tell each other to get up and dance for each other, just to entertain each other, because we were ravers. We did things like that. And she and I got up and did the synchronized dance in front of everybody. And I like to think we didn't have crabs anymore at that point. All right, I will talk to you guys later.